Yeah, g'day. My name's Justin Schultz, and you're on a property called Cory, roughly 55 k's east of St George on the Moonie River. Yeah, we're in the process of a journey with God that He's been taking us on. We own a property here that runs beef cattle, and we really have had the revelation about empire building versus kingdom building and kingdom culture in what we do. But yeah, as people, we're really here and we're called to further God's kingdom, not our own empires. In my previous life, I used to be an engineer. I used to spend a lot of time on farms and planning with families about, I guess, really expensive infrastructure and what they're doing. And I always remember asking the head of the family, like what they were doing this for. And so often the reason was always, I'm building this for my kids. And these were massive empires that men had put together. And it was just so interesting because nearly every empire that was put together by a father that was meant to be handed on to the kids, very seldom was there any family involved. The whole process of building an empire and the acquiring of capital meant that your relationships with your families just weren't where they needed to be able to hand those assets on. And so I think it's this real trap that people get into of building their empire for their family or for whatever reason that they get to the end and what they thought that they were building it for just isn't there anymore. And so I sort of had this revelation that so many people out there that are actually trying to build a kingdom and for God, and that they're trying to do the right thing, but they get caught in this cycle of greed and it's a very self-fulfilling cycle where you're building this empire and you feel as though your worth is going up, but it's such a worldly worth that it just never lasts. Yeah, God gave us a challenge a little while ago to set up a facility and feedlot where we get the opportunity to mentor at-risk people. We're quite blessed ourselves in the opportunities that we've been given by our families to live in a rural environment and have a chance to learn to drive cars and machinery and ride horses and work with animals and dogs. But so many other people don't ever get that opportunity to live in nature like we do, and they're stuck in environments that are quite man-made and manufactured, and they miss out on so much in life. We're feeling called to build a mentoring program and a system where we can actually take in people short-term and longer-term and give them some opportunities out here in the bush, working with livestock and doing some construction work to help us in building our feedlot. So our company is called Janine Pastoral Co. It means God is gracious. We believe there's a lot of power in names, and whenever people are employed by us or work with us at a business level, that whether they know it or not, that they're actually buying into kingdom culture, that it's about sharing the message of the gospel in everything that we do, and that every interaction that we have, whether they're a supplier or a customer or employee, we're sharing the message of God's grace and His love in everything that we do. We're only here for such a short time. If all you ever do is live for yourself, you often have quite an unfulfilled life. When you can understand that there's a bigger purpose and a bigger calling on your life, and you're building His kingdom and not your own, it's amazing how even just the simple things in life are so fulfilling. We've had kids come here that have never worked a day in their life, and they spend all hours of the night operating computers, playing games, and they come out here and they ride a horse, and after 6 kilometres on the horse they get off and they're just that excited. They've just had the best day of their life, and all we did was ride a horse around a paddock for 6 kilometres. It's just amazing to see the transformation in people's lives when they can just get outside and get into creation. It's amazing. But yeah, the journey that we're on, we feel that we're called to create a farming system that involves labour. And so much of what we do at the moment in our culture is to try and take labour out of everything we do. But people need stuff to do. The devil's playground is idle hands, and so I'm a big believer in young people always having busy hands. Some of the things that we're doing here to create those opportunities is we try and build everything that we can here on site. So we're building concrete bunks from scratch. We've made our own moulds, and we mix all our own concrete here on site. All the welding that we do, we do it here on site. All the mustering that we do, it's all on horseback with dogs. We're really trying to create opportunities to learn some skills that are somewhat getting lost in today's society. A guy who was going through year 10, he came from a broken family, so his mum and his dad didn't live together, and he really had a lost sense of identity and even purpose to some extent. And yeah, he lived with us for 6 months, and we took him on this journey of discovering what he didn't like doing in life. And it's amazing how not many people get that opportunity. So We took him fencing for a week, and he pretty quickly realised he wanted to be back at school. He's now in the Navy as an electrical technician. He's doing really well, and he's gone from this kid that really struggled to know who he was and where he was going, to being this man now who knows exactly who he is, and he's making a go of life now, which is so exciting to see. And it's just stories like that really get us excited and continue us doing what we're doing. In all of our business, I'm discovering that to be countercultural, I guess the Western culture teaches that most business decisions are made on profit. But I've been discovering that if your only decision-making tool is profit, you actually miss out. And I'm learning that so much of business is about relationships, and often that if you can put profits aside and actually measure your business performance by other metrics like customer satisfaction and supplier satisfaction and relationships, that often your profits increase. And it's all about coming up with business opportunities and relationships where both parties are always winning, and it's never about one party winning over another losing. So I'm blessed with 5 children. I have a beautiful wife, and we're all in this together. It's something that's so exciting to be able to do. I don't think many fathers anymore get to be on a journey with their kids in doing something like we're doing here. Yeah, our kids are homeschooled, and every day we have lunch together. We get the opportunities to ride horses together. Often we're mustering through the week, and the kids will give me a hand for a couple of hours before school. And it's just so amazing to be able to just be out on a horse with the kids, learning and growing together. And so the kids at the moment are definitely on the journey. I'm not saying they're always going to be here on the place with me. There's going to be a point in time where they need to set off on their own. Yeah, hopefully they can learn as much as I am on this path, and we can do it together.